And like we've been telling you, today marks 74 days until Americans head to the polls and vote in a presidential election that was turned on its head just over a month ago. Just take a look at this polling. It shows how much things have changed in those few days, with Vice President Kamala Harris instead of President Joe Biden. That's a big one. Democrats up nearly 10 points, making this an extremely competitive race between the VP and President Donald Trump. Joining me now to break down the polls is Data Science Director with our partners at Decision Desk HQ, Scott Tranter. Scott, good morning. Thanks for joining. Let's start with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. making a lot of headlines this morning, set to address his campaign's path forward. Arizona's Secretary of State already confirming he's filed the paperwork to withdraw from the race. So let's take a look at the national polling averages from DDHQ right now, both with and without RFK Jr. Scott, how does RFK dropping out now impact this race?
It makes it even closer than it already is. Look at that. If RFK drops out, Donald Trump gets it within 3 points. With RFK in, he's within 6 points. That's a big movement in a race that's going to be determined by a point or two.
What about the swing states and also the battleground states? Does that become even tighter with RFK dropping out?
Yeah, no, especially the key ones, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. RFK dropping out, he wasn't going to win, but he was taking 3 to 5% of the vote, and up a year ago, 10 to 15% of the vote. So that shows you that there are voters who are willing to move around and switch candidates who they're supporting for. Him dropping out appears to help Trump, appears that it will help Trump going into the fall.
And this race, I don't have to tell you, Scott, has been upended in the last month. VP Harris's campaign, just 33 days old. When you look at this map, which states are seeing the biggest shift since the switch in candidates?
I was going to say Michigan right there really stands out, and Michigan in conjunction with Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Those 3 states are the key to winning this race. Any candidate, whether Republican or Democrat, who wins those 3 states is almost certain to be the next president. And right before Joe Biden dropped out, those numbers were flipped. Donald Trump was ahead a point or two, and now you see VP Harris is ahead a point or two.
What about those crucial independent voters, Scott? Who do you think they're siding with?
I think they're starting to make up their mind. I mean, we saw the RNC with about 20 million people watching it every night. DNC about that, a little bit higher. We're coming up on campaign season. I see them breaking a little bit more towards VP Harris right now, but voting hasn't started.
And you know this as well as I do, that candidates usually see a bump after the convention. Just 3 days after the RNC, we saw President Biden drop out of the race, after the debate, now effectively stealing the spotlight. Do you see VP Harris getting a boost from the DNC? When would that reflect in polls? How soon would we see that?
If there's a bump, we'd probably see it a week from now. A lot of the major media organizations are going to go into the polls into the field with new polls starting early next week. So that's when I'd expect to see it. But interesting stat, the last 2 convention cycles we've had, 2016 and 2020, we've seen a minimal bump within the margin of error. We haven't seen the 5 or 10 point bump that we're used to seeing from the early 2000s. So I would expect to see minimal bump here just because of how close the race is.
Well, can movement in the polls go towards Harris just as the honeymoon period is now wrapping up, or do you think the momentum will still hold?
That's the big question. She has the momentum now, but what do we know about momentum? Momentum doesn't always stay. She's really got to keep it. I know this is going to sound crazy, but early voting starts in about 3 weeks in North Carolina and about 6 weeks across the rest of the country. So if she can keep it that long, she can start banking votes. I would expect the debate we have on September 10th and then the media blitz that the Trump campaign is going to do is going to be a good attempt at stopping some of that momentum.
And of course, we're still waiting for Harris's interview with any of the media outlets. Hopefully NewsNation. Now, the presidential election is 74 days away. Do you anticipate any massive swings in the polls between now and Election Day, given the factors you and I just discussed a moment ago?
Oh, man, this election cycle is crazy. You know, the last 9 months, if you asked me that question each time, I would say, look, we're looking for something pretty quiet and pretty stable all the way to Labor Day when it really kicks off. And boy, would have I been wrong. So this is to say I wouldn't expect it. But, you know, this is a cycle to expect the unexpected.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.